Hi, this is John Rowland. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the high-tone series saws we're building. In these saws, I've talked in other videos about the arbor assembly, so right now what I'm going to talk about is the carriage. In the carriage, it's basically a metal frame carriage that rides on the rails, and what we've done is we've created some yokes on the bottom of the carriage with a roller bearing that rides the bottom of the rail. And one of the things, if you look at the older saws that are out there, like the Lord Tone, they have an angle iron bracket here, and you have to actually turn the saw over like this to adjust. Well, being that I've had those before, and when they're all covered with muck, I really don't like turning my saw upside down. So what I did is, on these roller blocks, it has this, it's a compression nut that keeps the screw from turning on its own, but I made that screw so you can adjust it from the top. So all this adjustment is done from the top with those 3 screws, because this works kind of like a teeter-totter. You push down on it with the screw and it tightens up on the rail. So that's the first thing, and it makes it real reliable because this is very rigid and really easy to adjust. The second thing I did is I changed the way this crossfeed's set up. The original Lord Tone just has a bore here, and they're using a piece of all thread, and they thread that into that vise base, this piece here, and then they put some nuts on each side, and if you move it, the whole thing is kind of loose. And I didn't want that, because the crossfeed, if you're cutting thin slices and you want a really nice consistent slice, you need a fine thread for one, not this big coarse thread. You need a fine thread, and you need it where it doesn't have slop side to side. So what we did is we put this brass crossfeed nut in here, which is now a replaceable part. So if you ever wear one out, you just put a new one in and it's like new. But it also allows you to have that no slop in it, because it's not just threaded into the U-channel. Then with these bushings on the side, what that gives is a really, really steady, consistent, and there's no slop here. Then we line bore these 2 sets of bores here on both these, so that precision sliding there, there's, you can grab this and there's no play up and down. It literally is, these are ground rails, and so it's sliding like silk.
And you're going to eliminate these holes. These were originally put there
for crossfeed locks, but if somebody wants them, they're there. I'm going to leave them in. You'd have to get the saw really old and get it not out of adjustment, and then you could lock it down. But it won't walk. Like this won't walk on you when you're in the middle of a cut. Some of the old saws, if they don't lock down the crossfeed, they'll walk, and so as you're cutting, the thing's moving and you don't get a nice flat slab. This won't do that.